All right, thank you so much for joining me today. Today's class, we're gonna work on mobility. We're gonna get into little intricate parts of all of the joints, especially our larger joints where we hold a lot of tension, the knees, the shoulders, and definitely the hip creases and the hip joint. So thank you for sharing your beautiful practice with me today. If you have any type of a prop, I recommend using a strap. If you have a belt, a tie, even a scarf will work. Anything that we can start to open up the shoulders. And if you don't, that's okay, right? Just be creative, grab a hold of something. And we're gonna start by sitting in a modified hero's pose. So on your knees, option of curling the toes under, spreading all 10 toes onto the earth. So everything is connected. Maybe even taking a few movements just to ground yourself down into the earth. Feeling a nice settling energy as you take a few moments just to arrive. So anytime we're working on getting into those little intricate parts of the body, we have a different experience in the physical. So if you're feeling a little bit stuck in any physical areas of your body, close your eyes and breathe in to secure your space. Close your eyes for a moment. And although the world is rocking and rolling right now, there's a bit of stillness in your presence. Gift yourself this moment to quiet the mind. Start to manage your thoughts, prioritize. Think only on terms of all four corners of your mat today. Don't bring anything that may distract you from your growth. Take a deep inhale breath. Fill the belly, the ribs, and the lungs. Retain the breath at the top. And then exhale, just slowly release, starting to awaken the cells of the body as they communicate with each other. And as we breathe, we know that we're feeding cells with beautiful oxygen. So just a few rounds of deep breathing on your own. You can count the breath, or you can just close your eyes and feel the expansion and contraction. And those little tiny spaces in between your inhalation and exhalation are just as important as the breath itself. One more cycle of breath. This is where we source all of our energy from. It's our primary food source. When you're ready, slowly, gently open up your eyes. Walk the hands forward into a brief tabletop position. Uncurl your toes if they were there, and then just start to pound out the feet, bringing circulation back into those toes, into the nerves. And then sit back onto your heels, pressing into the tops of your feet, bringing the knees together. On your inhale, sweep your arms all the way up to the sky. Reach down for the tips of your shoulders, and then gently shrug your shoulders back and down the sides of your spine. We're gonna take a few circles. So on your inhale, lift up and release. Inhale and exhale. So an external rotation. Feel strong through your abdomen. And then moving in the opposite direction. So rounding forward, circling the elbows, creating a little bit of friction, lubricating, and then come back through center, pull the elbows back. And we're just gonna move from side to side, but we're gonna take breaths a little bit quicker. We're gonna inhale over to the right, and then exhale, or sorry, inhale to the left, exhale to the right. And then we're just gonna move a little bit quickly. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Imagine that you're just kind of sweeping away any tension that you may be holding on to in the shoulders. So really quick with the breathing. More like Kalabati. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. In through your nose, out through your nose. Inhale, exhale. Come back through center, relax your shoulders. Relax your arms by your side. And then just give your hands a little bit of a shake. Once again, bringing that circulation back into the body. Open up your arms, creating this nice long wingspan. And we're gonna do that same thing. We're gonna come over to the left on your inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, and then maybe making a little bit of a wave. Exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Breathing in. Bringing all this beautiful energy, chi into the body. Open up the arms, create this open heart up towards the sky. Lift your chin, let your head fall back, and then come back through center. Once again, just shake it out, bringing all that energy into the body. Clasp your hands behind your head, or behind your back, bring your palms down by your sacrum, and then open up your heart and your chest. We spend so much time in forward fold. When we're at our desks or our phones, we have an internal rotation, so this should feel really good to just create all of this open space in the collarbone. And then slowly start to release. Let's come back to that tabletop position. Open up the knees, and we're gonna stay with this moving energy, this lightness. So creating this nice tabletop position, keeping the fingertips forward. On your inhale, reach your arm all the way up to the sky, and then just release the right hand, but the fingertips facing your knee. Inhale the left arm up, same thing, fingers release, few circles forward and back. Inhale the right arm up towards the sky, place it back, fingertips forward, and then inhale the left arm up towards the sky. Release it all the way down. So we're working towards that joint mobility, and then just kind of move forward and back. On your inhale, reach your right arm up towards the sky, fingertips face your knee, left arm reaches all the way up towards the sky, take a deep breath, and exhale, release the left hand down. Once again, forward and back, forward and back. One more round, inhale the right arm up towards the sky, exhale, fingertips facing forward, right back to that tabletop position, inhale the left arm up, and then exhale, release the left hand down towards the ground. One moment. Good, so we're in that tabletop position, just stay there. Beautiful job, sorry. So we're back in that tabletop position. So remember, we're working on joint mobility today. On your inhale, extend the right leg back behind you. Flex your toes and point your toes. We have a nice squared hip. Take the right foot over to the right side of your space, but keep lifting that right heel up, feeling that outer hip, that outer glute start to release. One more breath, lift it up a little bit higher, and then release the right toes down. We're gonna take some circles, we're gonna bend into the knee. So rooting down into the top of the foot, and we're gonna take these circles in one direction. So free form, get as deep as you need to, pull the chest through, open up that collarbone. So when we start to work through mobility, right, of the joints, creating friction and lubricating, right, this will help when we're working towards our flexibility. Come back through that straight leg, curl the back toes. Let's sit back into a brief half child's pose. Just for one breath, inhale. And exhale, melt it all the way down. Come back through center, sweep that right leg back up towards the sky, and then step that right foot to the top right corner of your mat. Taking this lizard lunge, come onto your fingertips, option of using a prop, a block, right? Anything that you can lift the earth up to you. So be creative. Stand tall, chest is proud. Just take a deep breath in here. Keep those back toes curled under. And then we're just gonna sit back into this lizard half split pose. Walk the hands back. So the hands are underneath your chest, underneath your heart, and then just take a melt as you fold over the midline of your mat. And then slowly start to walk it all the way back into that lizard lunge. Lift your heart, lift your chest, plant your hands. Just send the right foot back into that tabletop position. Move your hips from side to side. And let's just work through that shoulder once again. We hold a lot of tension in the larger joints. So those shoulders are one of the top. On your inhale, reach the right arm up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, place the right fingers towards the right knee and then press into the sole of the palm. Inhale the left arm up and exhale, release the left fingers towards your left knee. A few circles, wrist mobility. Inhale, take the right arm up towards the sky. Exhale, place the fingertips back forward on the top of your mat. Inhale the left arm up towards the sky and exhale, tabletop position. On your next inhale, extend the left leg back behind you. Flex the toes and point the toes. We're working towards mobility, meaning every intricate part of the body. Sweep and circle that left leg over to the left side of your space. Lift the heel up as high as you can possibly go. Right? And then we'll just find a bit of stillness. Just when the world is rocking and rolling, there is a still presence, right, in you. And then release the left foot down. Really drive into the sole of the foot. And then we're just gonna take those circles. So do what feels good in your body today. Each time we arrive on our mat, we have a different experience. So as long as we don't try to control what everything is supposed to look like and just arrive with that feeling of sensation. So bending in circles in one direction and then the other. Really lubricating that joint of the hip. And then back through center, straighten that left leg, sweep the left leg all the way up and back, and then step the left foot to the top left corner. Now you can help it if you need to. If you're here, grab a hold of your ankle, pull that left up towards the top left corner of your mat, and then shimmy that back foot back. And then just kind of arrive in your shape. If you need to move a little bit, then move, and then sit back into that Ardha Hanumanasana, so half split. Walk the palms back so they're underneath your heart, and then sink and melt towards the midline of your mat. So this is a lizard half split pose. Finding a little bit more width on your mat than you would if you were in your regular low lunge. And then rebend. Pull and carve out your chest, carve out your heart, and then step back to our tabletop position. So readjust, realign your tabletop. And we're gonna stick with that quick movement. So we're gonna do some cat-cows. Let's start with our cat pose first. So protract your shoulders, really pull the tailbone in and up. So the pelvic is tilted up towards the belly button and then your chin is in your chest. And then we're just gonna open it up into cow pose. And we're gonna move a little bit more quickly. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Try to connect with your breath. So that is the union of yoga. Connecting the mind, the body, and the breath. So moving quickly, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to that fierce cat pose. Pull the chin in towards your chest. Dome out that mid-thoracic spine. And then moving back through center. Curl your toes. Let's just sit back into an active child's pose. Look in between your thumbs. Melt your belly. Close off that gap between your belly and your thigh. And then we're just going to slowly lift the hips up. So in the first few rounds of our down dog, keep a generous bend in your knees. You can pedal out the feet, working through the Achilles, the arches of the feet, and becoming aware of the parts of the body that we are opening up, because knowledge is power, and with great power comes great responsibility. So when we really take responsibility for our own health and well-being. So we're just pedaling it out one at a time. And then from here, let's slowly start to ripple forward. So lift the heels up, ripple into your plank position. From your plank position, bring your big toes to touch. We're gonna rotate onto the knife edge of your right foot, taking Vasisthasana side plank. Take a deep inhale breath. Lift that left arm all the way up. You can drop your knee if you need to. Let's really magnetize that left tip of the hip up towards the sky. Let's come back to our plank position. Inhale to shift forward. Drop to your knees, lower down to your chest and your chin, and then immediately press yourself back up. Plank pose. Straighten the legs, strong big toes touch. Shift over to the knife edge of your left foot. Right arm reaches up towards the sky. Vasisthasana. Really peel the tip of the right hip up towards the sky, and then come back to your plank position, top of a push-up. Inhale to shift forward, drop to your knees, hug the elbows into the ribs, create this friction, chest and chin, and then press back up to high plank arms, straighten the legs, plank position. Let's do that one more time, really starting to build heat, generating heat in the body. Tap the low belly, make sure it's contracted. Knife edge of your right foot, left arm peels up and overhead. Lift the hips up for one breath, plank pose. Shift forward, inhale, drop to your knees, chest and chin. Press back, high plank arms. Straighten the legs, top of a push-up. Over to the left side, pinky edge, right arm reaches up. Take a deep inhale and full exhale. Right hand releases, shift forward, inhale, drop to your knees, lower chest and chin, and this time just allow your belly to soften on the earth, and then pull your elbows back by your ribs. So this is gonna help to create this 90-degree angle with our elbows, which is exactly what we want. So we're really pulling the elbows back towards the back of our space. Slow, steady, audible breath. Find a focal point. And then with each momentous breath, we're just dissolving any tension. So remember that we're directing the breath wherever it is we feel the most tension in the body. Release the chin down towards the ground. We're gonna drop the forearms down. So working towards that mobility, right knee towards the right elbow, and then make sure that you're at this 90 degrees. From here, lift the right heel up off of the earth. Try and get as high as you can. So here we go, we're working through that outer hip mobility, so lift up and release. You can even grab a hold so you can see where we're moving. All right. And then we're just dropping our awareness there. So remember, all four corners of the mat, this is where we are going to be present. We're not thinking of any outside distractions. And let's take 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop it down. Walk the hands closer to your hips. Let's just lift up for a little bit into a baby or into a high-armed cobra pose, but watch your shoulders, really cascade them down. And this is where your intuition comes in, your body's knowledge. Because you know how deep you need to go. You can stay on your forearms, and that's okay. Take one deep breath. And exhale. Release that right foot back behind you, and then just kind of windshield wiper your feet from side to side. Left knee towards the left elbow, 90 degrees. Lift the left heel up, and then release it down. So we're just gonna lift up and release. Breathing deeply in through your nose, your body's natural filtration system. And this is going to help us, especially when we're moving a little bit more quickly, because we're gonna need to source our energy from a place that may be outside of our physical. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release it down. Walk the hands closer to your hips or stay on your elbows. Really hug. So we want to rotate the triceps in towards the heart. And slowly release. From our forearms, extend that left foot back, curl the back toes, lift the knees up off of the earth, and then just lift your hips up. So we're gonna stick with that quick movement, and then we're gonna work through our sun salutations. So we're just gonna drop the hips and lift, drop and lift, drop. So just as important as getting into the fascia, meaning holding in a restorative pose, right? They're both equally as important. Movement and stillness together create this beautiful union. Lift. So 5, 4, 3, contract the low abdomen. 1, hold, drop your knees. Sit back into child's pose, bring your knees together, extend the arms, lengthen them all the way back. And then roll yourself up one vertebrae at a time. Reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Grab opposite elbows. Pull the elbows back into space, creating a little bit of a back bend just to prepare ourselves for our moving meditation. We really warmed up the shoulders in the beginning, so this should feel nice and juicy. Watch your spine, watch that arch of the low back. Breathing in through the collarbone, in through the whole front chest, and then release the arms down by your side. Walk the hands back. Let's take downward facing dog once again. So you can set yourself up from plank position, and then just lift the hips, lift the tailbone, let the head just rest in between the biceps. So try not to overextend the spine. We're just allowing the shoulders to drift down the sides of our spine. It's a beautiful thing. So try not to manipulate the body too much. Yes, we're building strength. And walk the feet all the way up. So you can toe, heel, heel, toe, stay on the tops of your toes. Just journey to the top of your mat, creating a little space between your toes and your heels. And then bend your knees, grab opposite elbows. You can wrap your arms around the thighs if you feel that will help to decompress your spine a little bit more, or just ragdoll. Call this gorilla pose. Find your own self-expression. Making sure you have a generous bend in the knees, and then release your arms by your side. With your chin to your chest, slowly roll up, as slow as you can possibly go. Remembering the shoulders rotate down, head floats above the shoulders, heart is open, strong mountain pose. And then scan your body for a moment. Do you feel balanced in this pose? Do you feel a little wobbly? Find a little bit of buoyancy in your step here. Arms by your side. Inhale, arms rise, gaze up. And then move right through heart center. Let it go, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, fold it all the way through. Chin to chest, roll up. Half Surya Namaskar. Float the head above the shoulders. Inhale, sweep the arms to the sky, gazing up, Urdhva Hastasana, upward. And then fold it all the way through, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, just making sure that you're really being aware that you're letting your head, neck, and shoulders completely relax. Let it go. Plant your hand, send your left leg to the back of your mat. Slide your right foot back, take your plank position. Inhale to shift fold. Exhale, if you're ready for your chaturanga, move through chaturanga or just drop to your knees. Once again, lower chest and chin, and then immediately pull your heart up and through into cobra pose. From here, be mindful, curl your toes, lift your knees, watch your low back, guide the hips all the way up to the sky, taking downward facing dog. Let your head fall at the bottom of the breath. You can always open up your feet to a little bit wider, creating a little bit more space in the low back. So this is where your intuition comes in. Let's slowly walk the hands all the way up to the top of our mat. Little space between your toes and your heels. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold it all the way through. Bend your knees, reverse swan dive, reach all the way out and up. And exhale, move through heart center. Making sure that you're really hinging from your hips. You have a nice flat back as you fold all the way through. Close the gap between your belly and your thigh. Inhale, hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, bend your knees, right leg steps back. Runner's lunge, slide the left foot back into your plank position, top of a push-up. Inhale to shift forward. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, chaturanga. Inhale, heart carves all the way up towards the sky, shine it through. And then exhale, slowly, mindfully rolling over those toes. Remember to always keep a micro bend in the elbows. The triceps are wrapping in towards the midline, in towards your heart. Finding this upside down V. One more time, come high on the balls of your feet, bend your knees, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, create a nice flat back. Exhale, fold it all the way through. Roll yourself up, making sure your chin stays into your chest. Shoulders move all the way up and back. Float your head above your heart. Mountain pose. Inhale, arms rise, gaze up. And exhale, fold it all the way through. Hinge from your hips. Inhale to a flat back, gaze forward. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, just step back into your plank position. Bringing the big toes to touch. Inhale, let's rotate over to the right knife edge of your right foot. Peel the left arm up towards the sky. Come back through center, take your chaturanga or knees, chest, chin, and then press back to high plank position. Protract your shoulders over to the knife edge of your left foot. Inhale the right arm. And exhale, come back. Knees, chest, chin. We're just adding on, or chaturanga. Press back, high plank position. Downward facing dog. Find your Adho Mukha. Open up those feet about inner hips distance. So always making your little adjustments. And then be aware of where your shoulders are speaking to you. There's always this little narrative happening between the mind and the body, this democracy, if you will. Right? We don't want the mind to force our body into submission. We want to just move at our own pace. From your inhale, let's sweep the right leg to the side. Square your hips. So don't worry about getting it as high as you can. Just keep those hips neutral. Take the right foot over to the right side of your space, just like we did in our warm-up. Lift it up a little bit higher. Breathe. Release the right foot down over to the right side of your space, and then we're just going to do that same thing with those circles. So circle in one direction, and then in the other. And then sweep your right leg back behind you, square your hips. Right knee taps right elbow, step the right foot to the top right corner of your mat. We're in this lizard lunge again. Walk the hands forward. Deep inhale breath. So we're just going to ride the wave of our exhale as we let our head, neck, and shoulders relax. Extended lizard pose. Drive your left heel away. So be careful of the descent of that left hip. We want everything to be in one beautiful line. Walk the hands back underneath your heart. And then kick that right leg all the way back up and over into a flip dog. Lift your hips, lift your heart. Try to stay magnetized with those hips. And then release the right foot, the right hand down, downward facing dog. Ripple forward, peel yourself all the way through, moving right through your vinyasa. So whatever is calling for you at this moment, you can skip it. I want you to really enjoy this journey. Right? So don't just kind of move through the motions. Don't just put yourself on autopilot. Really feel the sensations. Everything should feel good with a sense of ease and fluidity. Come high on the balls of your feet, bend your knees, gaze forward, step, hop, or float. Inhale, take your flat back. Exhale, remember we're working through mobility, forward fold. Bend your knees, reverse swan dive, reach all the way out and up, and then take your hands into prayer. Step your feet as wide as your mat. Turn your toes out a lot. Sink your hips down into your wide malasana yogi squat. And for a lot of people, this is very uncomfortable. And just remember, discomfort is just temporary. So bring some movement into your malasana, your prayer squat. Place a block, a prop, a pillow underneath if you feel like you're not grounded through your feet. And if you're not, that is still okay. Plug the elbows into your inner thighs. Take your right hand to your left shin. Take the right tip of your shoulder, press the right inner thigh away, and then peel the left arm up and wrap it around. So circle it around and grab a hold of that right inner thigh. If you would like to take a full bind, we really warmed up the shoulders. Take the right hand through in front of the shin, clasp the palms together, and then pull the palms down by your sacrum, creating a little bit more space in the chest and always illuminating the heart up towards the sky. So I offered you this modified just to show you that there are other options. It doesn't have to be a full bind. Right hand to your left shin, peel the left tip of the shoulder back and down. And let's come back to center. Place your palms down onto the ground. Really hug those knees into the shoulder blades and lift the hips up into a wide forward fold. All right, so maybe a little bit more space in your wide forward fold. You can shimmy forward and back. And then from here, take your hands to your shins, take a flat back or wide, I know. Fold it all the way through. Plant your hands, step your right foot to the back of your mat. Step your left foot back into plank position. Inhale to shift forward. Let's move through our strong, energizing vinyasa. So anytime we're taking a vinyasa, that back bend portion is really what is going to bring all of this energy in through the front body and then release tension through the back body. The left foot is going to lift up, square your hips. So don't worry about being super high Don't bend your knee and stack your hip. We're driving through that right heel. Take the left foot over to the left side of your space like we did in our warm-up. Press your belly back to your thigh, but don't hyperextend your elbows. Release the left foot down. Sole of the foot presses down. Take those circles. So we're bending into both of our knees. We're just finding a little bit of creative movement. And it should feel good in all joints, the knees, the wrists, the shoulders. And then come back through center, left foot squares off, inhale. Exhale, left knee, left elbow, step that left foot to the top. Shimmy the back toes, that knee over ankle, walk the hands forward, plug the elbow and the knee together, and then just let your head rest. So we're just kind of putting all these puzzle pieces together, working through all the mobility of the joints. So this is going to be our focus. You can move forward and back, or find that still resting, active rest, if you will. And then walk the hands all the way back underneath your shoulders. Firm up the palms, protract. We're gonna take that left foot, step it over into a flip dog. So slowly, mindfully, knife edge of your right foot, peel the left arm up towards the sky, illuminating your heart. And then release the left hand down towards the ground, step back to your downward facing dog. Ripple forward into plank position, find your top of a push-up. Lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, peel your heart up. And exhale. Downward facing dog. Come high on the balls of your feet, bend your knees. If you can, step or hop into prayer squat. Beautiful. If not, step to the top of your mat and then open up your feet as wide and even wider than you may think, coming into Malasana. Once again, thumbs to your sternum, drive the elbows into your inner thighs, and then movement, freedom. Let's take that little bind on the other side. Left hand reaches for your right shin or ankle. Plug in through the knee and the elbow, or the knee and the shoulder. Right arm peels up and overhead, and then release it to the small back. If you would like to try for that full bind, left hand reaches, circles around the left shin, and then grab a hold, clasp the fingers. Once you have that, pull the palms down by your sacrum, create a little bit more space in the shoulder girdle. And then be mindful of your rib. So that corset that wraps around the torso, that protects and governs the organs. You want to engage. And let's take one more breath, one more cycle of breath. Slowly start to release, coming back to center, bring a little bit of movement back in. Hands plant, lift your tailbone high to the sky, taking a wide forward fold, and then some movement. And then from here, toe heel your feet back to center. Toes touch, heels are slightly separated. Bend your knees, roll yourself all the way up towards the sky, and then reach your arms all the way up. Inhale, gather your hands at the center of your heart. Take your left knee into your chest. Start with a little balancer. So we'll move through a little bit of flamingo pose. That's gonna help with that joint mobility as well. So all we're gonna do is keep that heel in towards your glute as you tip forward, like you were gonna launch. Bend your right knee, extend your left leg long behind you, flex your toes. Just like we did in our down dog. We're keeping those hips nice and squared. Bend the right knee, come back up to center, bring the heel into your glute. And then let's come back to flamingo pose, micro bend. As you straighten the left leg, straighten your right leg. Putting all these little pieces of the puzzle, bend the right knee, bring the heel back into your glute. And then we're gonna take this into a humble flamingo in a brief moment. Inhale, let's bend the knee, working through the tip, those little joints. And then exhale, straighten the right leg, straighten the left leg. Once again, bend your knee, bring your knee in towards your chest. And then we're just gonna step that left foot. So bend into that flamingo, step the left foot into the center of your mat. Turn your left toes out, shimmy the right foot over. So hips are nice and neutral. Sweep your arms up towards the sky. Circle the arms back and then fold, dive over that midline. Good. So we have a little bit more space. We're in our pyramid pose. Inhale, let's reset the spine. Just wave the belly forward. Allow the ribs to gently rest on the thigh. If you want to work towards that flamingo, bend the right knee so your belly is placed upon the thigh, just like you would in maybe a humble warrior. And then bring the left heel in towards your glute, option of lifting the palms into the center of your heart. This is our humble flamingo. Release the right hand, release the hands down, gently straighten that right leg and then release it back into your pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Option of tick-tocking the hips from side to side. And let's work through IT band. So from your pyramid, right, we have this closed off space. We're about 3 feet. We're gonna rotate onto the knife edges of our feet. So we're gonna rotate onto the knife edge of your left foot and the right foot. Right? So we're rotating over to the right side of our space. Let your head, neck, and shoulders just relax. Now, option, if you have a block, place the block under your heart, left hand plant, peel the right arm up towards the sky. You're gonna feel this piriformis muscle, this right outer glute. This is where a big chunk of our low back issues come from. This muscle, because it is always inflamed because of all the activity that we do, even sitting. So when we start to work through releasing the piriformis muscle, we start to alleviate any type of back pain. Let's walk it all the way back out, finding that pyramid pose. And then let's just walk all the way over to the left side of our space. And we are a little bit shortened, and that's okay. So take a wide forward fold. And then we're just gonna move from side to side. Push the hips back, over to the left, and then over to the right, over to the left. Just making this little waving like action. Joint mobility. And then pause through center, let your head, neck, and shoulders relax. You can grab opposite elbows. Release the hands. Let's frame out that right foot, pivot onto the back toes. Step the left foot all the way back. Drop your knee, top of your foot. Inhale, sweep the arms up towards the sky. Interlace your fingers to the top of that right thigh, and then find your Anjaneyasana. Many variations for the arms. Interlace your fingers, palms down by your sacrum. Pull the tips of the shoulders back and away. Or you can grab a hold of the top of the elbows. And this will help to create more space in the lungs. It will help you breathe a little bit more deeply. Inhale. And exhale. Frame the foot, sit back, Ardha Hanumanasana. From our half split, take the left toes out. We're gonna walk it all the way back, guys. We're gonna take a half hero's pose. Ooh. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Take this left calf, shift it away from behind the thigh. Sit up nice and tall. Feel your sit bones grounding down. And then we're just gonna slowly start to melt down. So we're gonna walk the hands forward. We're gonna melt it over that right leg. So shift your shoulders so they're in line. And you can always have a block. You can always have a block so you can rest your elbows. Guys, blocks are everything. It's just gonna help to bring the earth up to you. It's not cheating. It's giving your body exactly what it needs so that you can find the depth of your pose, the depth of your shape. And now let's take it into our hero. So the hero portion of this. So what we're gonna do is walk the hands back. And then maybe this is all that you have in your hero's pose. If you've ever taken full hero, maybe you drop your elbows down. Keep the knee released down onto the mat. So joint mobility, the knees, we need to really focus on the mobility of our knees. And this is a great stretch. Maybe you have full hero or full half hero, meaning you rest your shoulders down, grab opposite elbows, or just cactus your arm. Not only are you releasing the joint of the knee, but you're also stretching the top of the shin and the foot. And then just taking a few breaths. Whole front of the quad right into the socket of the hip. And then let's come back through center. So we're gonna plug into the elbows if you're on your backs, and then moving in the opposite direction. So coming all the way back up. And then here we go. We're gonna slowly start to shift forward, all right? Create a little bit of momentum, shift forward back into that Anjaneyasana, curl the back toes, step back to your plank position. Top of a push-up. And just reassure yourself how strong you are. Inhale to shift forward. Vinyasa of choice. Elbows hug into the rims. Be really mindful. See, you can see my elbows are not swaying out to the side. Oh, that's so bad on the joints. Really shift the biceps, wrap the triceps around so that they're inside of the body, and then meet in downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Come high into the balls of your feet, bend your knees, gaze forward, step, hop, or float to the top of your mat. Space between your toes and your heels. Bend your knees, reverse swan dive, reach all the way out and up, hands gather at the center of your heart. Inhale just to solidify, secure your space, and exhale. Right knee into your chest. So we want to think more heel to glute than knee into chest. Maybe that right thigh is parallel. Take it into flamingo pose. So we're bending at that left knee joint, and then we're just kind of pivoting forward to the belly and the chest are parallel. Straighten the left leg, straighten the right leg. Warrior three, hard flex the toes. Bend that left knee, bring it back in through center, heel to glute. Nice and strong. Remember to contract the low abdomen. That is where we find our balance or build our balance, right? Balance isn't something that we need to find. It's something we need to build. Let's come back to flamingo. Keep a light, slight bend in that left knee, and then straight and strong through both. Hard flex the toes. Bend your knee, bring it back into center. Chest is lifted. Almost there. Inhale. Bend and exhale. Elongate. Back through center. Rebend. Stand it tall. Inhale. And exhale. Extend and lengthen. Flex the toes. Come back through center. And now we're just going to step that right foot to the top. Or sorry, not to the top. To the middle of our mat. So this is a great way for us to be able to set up for our pyramid. Take those left toes out to the left. Make sure the right toes are turned to the right corner of your mat. So this isn't really a super fast flowing class. It's really more about like bringing all of your awareness to the parts of the body. Pyramid pose. Inhale, arms rise. Circle the arms all the way back behind you and then dive forward. So ride the wave of your exhalation. Let your head, neck, and shoulders relax. Any type of a movement. Working towards that humble. Bend the left knee. Bring the belly connected to the thigh. Close the gap. Shift the weight into the left foot and then bring the right heel into your glute. You can bring your hands into prayer. Finding a little bit of strength here. Humble flamingo, and it's okay if you fall out of it. Just remembering the 45 minutes of strong and not the 4 seconds of falling out, stumble. And then let's come back to that pyramid pose. Release the right toes back down. You can tick-tock the hips from side to side. Let's walk it all the way to the left side of our space. So pivot onto the knife edges of our feet. Great place for a block. Or tent the fingers. You don't have to come into the twist. It's just an added bonus. Left arm reaches up towards the sky. Right fingertips underneath your right shoulder. You can even place the left hand right at that sacrum, a flat bone. And then shift forward a little bit. Really feel your IT band release. All these parts of the body that are connected, that work simultaneously. And let's come back to center. Slowly start to pivot. We're gonna walk it all the way over to the right, taking a slight wide forward fold. And now we're just going to move from side to side. We'll just move it over to the right, push your hips away, push them away. Ooh. So we're just lubricating, right? That's all we're doing. We're taking, right, this movement, this friction, and then let's slowly start to frame out the left foot, pivot onto the back toe, step the right foot all the way back, drop your knee, top of your foot, sweep the arms up to the sky, choose your arm grip. Maybe you interlace the fingers and then open up your heart and your chest, making sure that you are not, right, finding too much of an arch of the low back. Anytime we take a back bend, think more upper back. So we lengthen the spine up first, and then we surrender into the pose. And surrender doesn't mean to give up. It really just means to let go. And really stress and anxiety just comes from a place not only of fear, but lack of control. Right? If you are ever in a car and there's traffic and you're late, you just start to feel anxious. You start to feel stressed because there is a situation out of your control. So however you handle your obstacle is whether you grow or not grow. It's ultimately up to you. Frame the foot, release your grip wherever you are. Sit back to half Hanuman, half split. Take those right toes out to the right, and you're just gonna gently, gently, gently let your hips fall. Feel grounded and rooted. Take your palms, release the calf from underneath the hamstring. And there you go. Knees are together. And then just walk your hands forward. Folding over that left leg. Chin is moving towards your shin. Deep breath. Secure your space with that exhalation. Just maybe even moving your head from side to side, and then slowly, gently walk it all the way back up. We're taking that hero's pose from here. So remember, your knees are together. You can just reach or let your chest pull back, carve out your chest, or you can bring your forearms onto the ground. You can come all the way down, even if you're off your mat like me. Grab opposite elbows or cactus your arms. Anytime that your arms are overhead, we are opening up the lungs. So we're creating more space. So I remember when my kids were little, I would use, if they were choking on water, I would always be like, put your hands overhead, right? It's because it just opens up your lungs. And then just be mindful of where your knee is speaking to you, because we never want pain in that area of the body. This is a little bit of tugging on that kneecap. One more deep round of breath. It also is a little back bend. So there's a bonus. Let's plug into the elbows, coming all the way back. From here, let's release the right foot to meet the left. And then we're just gonna come all the way down onto our mat. So roll yourself all the way down. And then once you come onto your mat, bring your knees into your chest, open your feet as wide as your mat. And we're just gonna windshield wiper our feet from side to side. So we did that little 90 degrees on our belly. We're gonna do the same thing on the ground. Bringing a little bit of movement. And then when you bring the knees over to the right, take your right foot, place it on top. So even look up, figure 4 on top of that left thigh. And then we're creating this 90-90. Open your arms up and just let everything soften towards the right side. Remember that we're breathing in through the ribs, expanding and contracting. Making sure that you prioritize your thoughts, so keeping it on these 4 corners of our mat. There's nothing that you need to worry about at this moment. And then let's come back through center. So release the soles of the feet, open wide, windshield wiper your feet from side to side. Just imagine this is like a sweeping action, right? So all of those memories that store in the hips, because it is our hidden survival muscle, that sometimes we sweep underneath the rug, and we do. It's time to get rid of it. It's time to sweep it away. And then over to the left, let's take that left foot, figure 4 on top of the right thigh, and then gently let everything fall over to the left. Hard flex your toes. Starting to soften the breath now, slowly starting to, that cadence, that rhythm, start to slow it down. And then soften that space in between your eyebrows, so don't burrow up the eyebrows, and remove the tongue, soften your jaw. We hold a lot of tension in our jaw. Come back to center, bring the knees into your chest. So we haven't really taken any child's pose. This is a great way to counterbalance any back bend that we took. So rock from side to side, stimulate your adrenals, nervous system of the body that is responsible for rest and reset. And do we always want to be in a state of rest and reset? No, because there are times in our life where we need to be in somewhat of a state of fight or flight, like when we're playing tennis or if we're on a football field, right? We don't want, our nervous system needs to be on. Let's bend the knees, reach around, grab a hold of the pinky edges of your feet. Ah, happy baby pose. Now you can straighten the legs and bend, straighten, but making sure that you're plugging in through the tailbone. Everything's glued down. Straighten and bend, happy baby. And then take your legs up to the sky. So one thing that we neglect when we're working through, even if it's just a slow moving class like this, is the paraspinal muscles of the spine. So the muscles that align the spine, right? So let's take a few rocks. You don't have to come all the way back into plow. You can just take a gentle rock and tap. And this is going to massage those muscles all the way back. So if you have that Halasana plow pose, you can take it all the way back. Just be really aware of that cervical spine and that space in the neck. Just taking a few rocks. Maybe you want to pause in boat pose. Have a little fun with it. And then come all the way back. Maybe you stay in your plow pose, placing the palms onto the low back, or just gently rest your spine and keep extending the legs in your waterfall pose. This is a great way to drain out your lymphatic system. Calm the nervous system. So there's so many systems of the body that help us to eliminate waste and toxins. One of the best eliminators is that natural filtration system is the nostrils. So let's take a little bit of breath of fire. Breath of fire is just like a sniffing dog. Your lips are sealed. Inhale, and then natural contracting and expanding of the belly. So keep going. Inhale, open your mouth, let it go. So if you're in that plow position or in your shoulder stand, let's roll it all the way out. We're gonna extend the legs long on the earth. Place the palms underneath your glutes. Point your toes, plug into the elbows, hold the elbows underneath your heart. And now we start to puff out your chest. So start with the belly, then the ribs, then the scapula, and then let your head fall back. And then let everything just release, letting go of the whole front meridian of your body. If there's any blockages, you will know. If you're intuitive, you'll know that if you need to be grounded a little more, or if you're feeling like nothing is giving you pleasure, even the most beautiful things in nature. Or if your heart is blocked, you feel sad. Maybe you have a hard time communicating or receiving information, and that is your throat chakra. Intuition and knowledge. Maybe you don't feel intuitive. And then your crown chakra, which is your connection to your higher power. So whatever that means to you, the universe, God, whatever. Maybe you're finding a disconnect. Let's come back to center. Bring your chin to your chest. So if you notice that you feel blockages in any areas of the body, just take fish pose, Matsyasana. Let's bring the knees into our chest and then just slowly start to release the feet down towards the ground. Bringing the soles of the feet together is an option. Or just let everything release so that we can relax all the muscles of the body. Open your palms. Shimmy your shoulders under your heart, hitting a little shelf. Remembering why you show up for your mat each and every day. Not only does it take you away from the hustle and the bustle of our everyday life, but our body craves this connection to ourselves. I like spending time with myself, just either reading or meditating or just taking a walk. I know that there's a lot of people who don't like to spend time by themselves, but it's super important for us to get to know, right, who we are and what it is that we want out of this very short life that we live. And then take this time to detach from every little bit of that experience. So if you've ever had a day where you just felt like everything that could go wrong went wrong, or if you just had a little bit of a piece of your day that went wrong and you're like, I had the worst day ever. Think back, I had the worst 15 minutes ever, and then move on about your day. And think of all the beautiful wonders and not that 15 minutes. And then gift yourself this moment of complete stillness, where your presence is required. So place your right hand on your low belly, and then place your left hand on your heart. That natural cadence of your breath, that natural rhythm that is out of our control, yet somehow, some way brings equanimity and balance to our lives. Thank you for sharing your beautiful practice. I hope there's a little bit more freedom in your physical body, a little bit more freedom in your mind. Have a wonderful day. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing. Take your time.